So now we're going to talk about risk management, and Force has a lot of information about risk management on your website. So what are some of the key things that high-risk women need to know to better manage their risk?
So I think the first thing is, who is a high-risk woman, or who is a high-risk individual? And it is so important for people to be aware of their family health history, and to look at the father's side as well as the mother's side. Many people don't realize that hereditary gene mutations and a predisposition to breast and ovarian cancer can be passed down through the paternal side of a family. So the first thing we do is try to educate who might be at risk, and to give the warning signs of what hereditary cancer or a person at increased risk might look like. The next thing we do is encourage individuals to speak to their doctors and potentially to genetic counselors to determine if genetic testing is in fact indicated. And we have national guidelines for that, so we share those guidelines. Sometimes family history is not as clear-cut as we'd like it to be, and that's where a genetic counselor can really help the patient evaluate their risk. Many people overestimate their risk, others underestimate their risk. So we think it's important for every person to be informed and educated and to understand what their risk really is. Once someone is identified as high risk, we share information about the national guidelines, and we do turn to NCCN, the National Comprehensive Cancer Network, for their guidelines, and those indicate that women who are at high risk should be starting breast MRI as well as mammography at the age of 25, or 10 years younger than the earliest onset cancer in their family. We do see hereditary cancers, and women at high risk tend to get cancers at younger ages, so that is why they recommend screening so much earlier. Given that screening recommendations for the average woman are typically not to start until the age of 40 or possibly 50 now, you can see why it's so important to identify those individuals who are in fact high risk. It's also important to know that ovarian cancer goes along with increased risk of breast cancer, and so those women need to be conscious of that as well.